大きいですね。
少し。
身長いくら何センチですか
？1メーター98。
あんまり私生産者と並んでもガタイ負けすることないんですけど、完全に負けてますね。本日は生産者さんいらっしゃいのコーナーとして、ティレルズのエクスポートマネージャーであるアンドリューさんに来ていただきました。よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。ありがとうございます。
早速アンドリューさんにティレルズはどういったワイナリーでどんなワインを作っているのかっていうのをいろいろ伺っていきたいのですが、アンドリューさん、ティレルズを一言で表すとしたらどんなワイナリーですか？
In one word, okay. I'm going to do it. ご家族 Family. Family is the word I would describe.
家族経営のワイナリーであると。じゃあティレルズの特徴としてまず挙げたいものってどんなものがありますか？
Before I talk about Tyrrell's, to give the characteristics of the Hunter Valley. Hunter Valley is one of 65 wine regions in Australia. And in fact, it's one of our warmest regions. The best word I could use to describe it, one word for the climate, is subtropical. One of the major characteristics about that subtropical situation is we have warm days and warm nights. So it means that our fruit ripens quite quickly. We harvest on fruit ripeness when actually sugar levels are quite low and acidity is still quite high.
ハンターバレーってその亜熱帯、昼も夜も暖かいって言われてますけど、夏の日本って来たことありますか
？No, I haven't, but I've heard it is very, very hot and humid, which is why I'm here.
夏のその最高気温とあと夜の気温ってどれくらいですか
？In the Hunter Valley, it gets as high as 40 degrees, if not more. But usually once it gets to about 32 degrees, we start to lose the humidity and it becomes just very dry heat.
日本とほぼ変わらないですかね。
For summer, I'm guessing it would be. And as you know, here in Japan, it's very hard and very difficult to grow grapes in those conditions. Because it's not just the heat and humidity, it can be the heavy rain as well. It makes it very, very difficult.
そう、日本雨多いので、ティレルズの畑の写真とか見てても、日本だともっともっと雑草が生い茂るんですよね。だからその辺が写真で見たハンターバレーとの違いかなとは思います。
Actually, it's not very different between what you see in Australia and what you might have in Japan. We do actually have a lot of bush growth between our vines, but at Tyrrell's, it's important for us to get rid of that and keep that bush growth away, because that bush growth takes the energy away from the vines. If we did not get rid of it, we would have to spray it with chemicals. And as we all know, chemicals have a negative effect on the actual grapes themselves. So by keeping the ground clear of any bush, so the only plant that grows is the vines, it means it's energy for the vines and less chemicals that we use. But if you come to the Hunter Valley now, at this moment, I could take you to vineyards that are not Tyrrell's, but other people in the Hunter Valley, where the grass in between the vines is higher than me, over 2 meters. Or even taller. Even taller.
畑入れないよ。
Exactly. So expanding on what I was mentioning before, where we have warm days and warm nights, we ripen quickly. Low sugar equals, across all of our wines, a lower level of alcohol. We also have lots of rain. It means that when we pick our grapes, they're very juicy, but with thin skins. This results in wine that is a lot more about the fruit the natural acidity, less about with skins. Remember, skin equals tannin, and tannin needs oak. So for us and the hunter, it's fruit and acid, not oak and tannin. As a result, our wines are lower in alcohol, more medium bodied, or you could almost say more European in style than Australian. And because of that lovely natural acidity, you can put them in the cellar for many, many years, including the whites.
ハンターバレーが、緯度が結構低くて、さっき言ったように暑い産地なのにアルコール数が低くてちゃんと酸があるワインができるっていうのはなかなか面白いですね。じゃあそのハンターバレーでティレルズの位置づけってどんな感じなんですか？
Well, to start with, Tyrell's Wines is one of the oldest wineries in the district. In fact, we're one of the oldest wineries in Australia. We were established in 1858 and we're still family owned today. Along with the story and the history of our winery, it also means that we have some very old vineyards. In fact, we have 8 of the 11 vineyards in the Hunter Valley that are over 100 years old.
じゃあもうハンターバレーのパイオニアと言っていいんですね。
Well, it's a good question. We're not actually the pioneers. There were wineries and winemakers that came before us. In fact, there was wine in the Hunter Valley even 30 years before Tyrell's came. But we are some of the oldest surviving wineries from that time. So something else that for Tyrell's, we have a motto, a family motto. And that philosophy, that motto is, nothing is good unless it is great, which means we are always looking for improvements in our vineyard and in our winemaking. And I'll continue. And you can see that in, for example, our one Semi Young. It is the most highly awarded white wine in Australia, with over 4,500 awards since the first vintage in 1962.
ここまでそのハンターバレーのことを紹介していただきましたが、ティレルズはこのハンターバレー以外のところにも畑を持ってるんですよね。
So most of our wines come from the Hunter Valley. We've got 3 here, but the other vineyard that we have is in Heathcote in Victoria, and this wine is from Heathcote. Heathcote, Victoria is a small town that's about 3 hours drive north of Melbourne, or if to drive from the Hunter, 10 hours south.
ハンターバレーからかなり距離があって、例えばカリフォルニアのワイナリーとかだとそういうふうに畑が離れてる場合って別のブランドを立ち上げて別の名前でワインを作るっていうこともよくやってると思うんですよ。ティレルズはどうして同じティレルズとしてハンターバレーのワインも作ってヒースコートのワインも作ってってしてるんですか？
Tyrell's brand is, well, we like to think it's a strong, well-known brand in Australia. It's a brand that people trust when they see our logo. It's a brand that their parents grew up with, and parents introduced their children. So it's important for us to keep the brand on the label.
ティレルズを知る上でまず飲むべきがこのワインとシラーズが2つとセミヨンが2つということなので、こちらを次回一緒に飲んでいきたいと思います。次回も見てください。
Australian Shiraz is often seen as, in summary, sunshine in glass is how we describe it.
ハンターシラーズはそうじゃないと。